Hello, everybody. This is Christy Whitman with the Quantum Success Show, where you can get your information and inspiration to create your desires. And as you can see, I have a beautiful friend with me today. This is Sandra Biskind. Am I saying it right? Biskind?
Yes, Sandra Biskind.
Biskind. I love it. I love it. She's got kind in her name. So
I love that too.
I've known Sandra for a while because we're in Transformational Leadership Council, but I've never had to say her name out loud. So Sandra is an international #1 best-selling author with her husband, Daniel. Daniel's not with us today, obviously, but they are speakers and amazing spiritual teachers who for decades have been transforming the lives of global award-winning business owners and spiritual leaders. They are Jack Canfield's energy shifters of choice. And now you can experience the depth of their work and take these codes locked in your DNA that are trapped programs within your neural pathways and finally get to a place of being free. So through experiencing their revolutionary books that show you a step-by-step process of what you can do to unlock the best version of you right away. And I'm excited because they have a brand new book out that we're going to talk about. But Sandra's extraordinary gifts as a healer became evident, and she knew she had to share these gifts with the world around her. We were just talking that for her, this is just something that she was born to do and be. It's not a choice. She said, today I'm going to become a healer. Something like myself, it was a guide. It was just a path that laid out in front of us. It wasn't like, hey, that sounds like fun. Let me go try to do that. So Sandra, it's not in your bio, but I have to say that she is one of very few people that have actually been knighted by the work that she's done, which means that she has made huge, tremendous impact in the world that she is influencing. So I am so excited to have this conversation with you today, Sandra.
I'm so excited to be here with you. And we were just having a conversation before this interview started, and we got ourselves on this very high frequency love code. And what I love about that is that it is our job to inspire and uplift and support people. And, you know, the deepest and most profound way that you can do that is by loving them. So on this frequency, I'm excited because now everybody that is watching this is getting this mega frequency hit of love.
Yes, I could feel it. It's amazing. So you just mentioned a word, and that's what a code. And I love that because your work is based on that. So I love you've actually cracked the code. You and Daniel cracked the code for living as a high frequency being. Now understand my community, which I call my family, they understand about universal laws. They understand about how important being in a high vibration is. So that's what your new Code Breaker book is really all about. So what does a high frequency being look like? And why should we want to obviously live as these high frequency beings?
Yeah, well, we all want to live as high frequency beings because when we're doing that, we actually are having enlightenment and whole experiences. And, you know, when you're talking about laws, we know that the law of attraction is working all of the time. However, it relies on a lot of other laws to back it up and to make it work for all of us. And so the law of beingness, the law of expansion, and the law of frequency are really, really strong. And all of those mean that you get into this code, and there's a password. So the password to the code is, well, there's actually 8 high frequency passwords, and I call them codes. Actually, it's the peace code: love, awareness, trust, integrity, neutrality, unity, and mindfulness. Now, those 3 things are our high frequency beingness states when we're living connected to our true self, right? And an acronym for that is platinum. So it was like when we began to write Code Breaker, we said, well, what are we going to write about? Because we knew we wanted to take people into the experience of being able to shift from an unhappy, you know, overwhelmed, out of balance state into being happy, supported, and loved. And so to do that, we said, okay, well, we have to write about peace, love, and it all just fell into place. And we looked at each other and said, hang on a minute, is that a password? Does that say platinum? Because it was like platinum was dancing out there waiting to come in, to actually dance with the rest of the world. And so what we realized was over the last 20 years, we've been experimenting with platinum ourselves. And so if you really want the success that you want, the success that you teach Christy too, you have to actually go into the source and find out where the unconscious programs are that are sabotaging your ability to show up as the best version of you. And they're always in the unconscious. It's never the conscious mind. And that's something that is very important here too, by the way, that your family will understand, is that the conscious mind can be saying one thing. It can go, yeah, I know I deserve to be successful. I know I'm good enough. I know I'm all of these things. And the unconscious mind is, hang on, who do you think you are? And unfortunately, the unconscious mind always wins.
Yes.
So the system that we describe in Codebreaker is a system where you use activations and inquiry, like really important deep questions. We correct out to get neutral those important unconscious programs, and then you get this wonderful transmission of energy to keep the frequency high. So it's just a 4-step, really it's a quantum energetic system that Codebreaker lays out. We actually do say, Christy, that this is our legacy work. It's almost like we came here to deliver Codebreaker and this platinum life system to the world, because when people immerse in the system, and we've done live events with it, we do our private coaching with it, they just change instantly. And we also knew, and I don't think you've had time to read Codebreaker yet. No, but that's okay, because when you do, a number of things are going to happen. You'll realize that it's one thing for us to, train our mind to live as these high frequency being the states of platinum, but it's another thing to actually discover the core low frequency blockers to that. And for instance, just very quickly, if you've got someone in your life that you haven't forgiven, even yourself, then you are not going to ever know your natural state of peace. If you're in a state of fear, then there's no way that you're in a state of love. And so what I love about this system, it really gives you step by step what you're feeling, anxious, overwhelmed. Oh, okay, that's just a signpost. It's not that I'm bad or wrong. It just means, hey, I'm on this low frequency of worry. I need to now change myself and realign to trust. So it just gives you this simple, easy step to know what the opposite is, and you bring yourself back into the opposite. So it's quite an exciting, simple, effective system.
Well, let me ask you this, because when I write a book, I don't just sit down and write a book. The book downloads through me, and exactly. Download the words on the pages. I mean, people say that when they pick up my book, they can feel the energy in the book. I know, without even having to ask the question, I know that's the way it is with you, obviously. I could just feel that. So when someone picks up and gets a copy of Codebreakers, which by the way, I'm going to go and pick up mine. Definitely. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to do that before our interview, but I imagine I could just feel it energetically, that opening and just holding that book, that's going to have an energetic shift for me. Plus what you outline in the book to be able to really break the codes. Am I right in reading that?
I think you're quite amazing, actually. Everything, I'm just going to show it to you here, because everything about the book has been deliberately designed to give you a high frequency hit, from the cover to the interior of the book, the quality of the paper. All of this is designed that even if you don't read it, you are going to get, oh, what is this? And Martin Root, who is a transformational leader. Yes. He's the man that has headed up the Heaven on Earth project, which is quite incredible.
I had him on our show. He's amazing. I love Martin. He's just,
isn't he a darling? So he got a copy of the book. He wanted the PDF. So we said, okay. And 3 days later, he rang up and said, what's going on? I've got questions. And I said, I just started laughing and said, well, what's happening, Martin? He said, well, I started reading the book, and he thought, I know some of this. And then he thought, I got so high. And I went into this incredible place, and I put the book down, And I was still in it for the rest of the day. What is it? What is it? And we said, well, you are, you're really tapping in to your true self, because your true self is being activated as you read this very high frequency divine information, which is exactly what you're talking about. And he even said, he wrote a testimonial, so I'm not speaking out of turn here. He even said, you know what? I have been completely addicted to the news, and it's been a shocking thing for me, which as we all know, if you're watching and involved in low frequency information, it's going to drag you right down.
Yes.
So he said, you know what, since I've read the book, I don't even want to watch the news and read the news anymore. He said, what happened? And there's a lot of little miracles that you have to expect from teachers like us, who put the intention into our work that this is going to support mankind. I mean, this is not just about you and me, wanting to raise our frequency. This is about upgrading the frequency of the entire planet. And that's what a work of art like this does. It's what your book does. I actually feel a bit emotional. I don't know if you do, but I feel emotional when I talk about this.
I have tears that are...
Yes, because we know that when we have our intention clear, we download the information. It's given it to us from such a pure source of integrity. And yes, it takes years to absorb it and work with it and edit it and make it all happen. But the fact is, it's coming from a source that is so beyond us. And when we work with it, you probably do this all the time, Christy, when you work with people live, that you get to see the results and the benefits. And we honestly have little miracles and synchronicities happen all the time with this system.
I love it. Well, you mentioned Martin, and I have to just share a memory. It's honestly one of the top 5 memories I have at being in the Transformational Leadership Council with you and Martin, is we were, I don't remember where we were. We might've been in Costa Rica. I can't remember where we were, but we were taking the bus or a little van from the airport to our destination. And it was Daniel, yourself, Martin, and myself. It was the 4 of us in the van. And we had the most incredible conversation. And I don't know if it was an hour ride, 20-minute ride. The time was just, it went like this. And the level of conversation and the level of truth that was in that conversation, I got out of that van. I'm like, I could go home now. I mean, it was just like, I felt so like, anything else that happens from this point forward is just like a cherry on top, because I already got what I came for. And for me, it was just that being able to have such a level of depth of conversation. We weren't talking about things that didn't matter. We weren't talking about superficial things. It was like, we're talking about the beginning of time and Adam and Eve, and, just this amazing, enriching conversation that because of that and I've had other van trips like that from the airport or to the airport with amazing people like that. But that is definitely in my top 5, where just being in your presence and having Daniel there and having Martin and the 4 of us just in this beautiful conversation really shifted. And so I can always feel when someone's real and authentic and true, and that's taken years to figure that out. But I just wanted to honor you in that, because whenever I'm in your presence, I just feel like, I feel there's that instant alignment. So I'm looking forward to getting your book and holding it in my hands, because just even seeing the cover of it, like the cover of it is like the colors that clearly.
Yeah, and you know what we did, because people were saying, okay, they don't want to write, the book is so precious to them, and they didn't want to write in it. We said, okay, so we created a journal for them. And on the back, by the way, this heart is the Platinum Life System encapsulated in the heart, because, when you're operating out of your heart center and the heart is directing the mind, then you're going to change your life completely, right?
Totally.
And what we're doing when you share your books and your work, and when we do it, and all of these transformational leaders do that, what we're saying is, welcome to our world. Be a part of that high frequency conversation. Come into that bus with us.
Yes.
And really what, when you said that, I remember that conversation exactly. And I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great for us to have everyone that we love, our family, in the bus? And truly, the way we do that is by really working so hard to keep the truth, the integrity, and the love high with what we offer to the world. And so, okay, welcome to the Codebreaker bus.
I love it.
You know what the key to enlightenment, Christy, is?
Yes.
Lighten up.
Say that again.
Lighten up.
Ah, I love that.
Yes. You know, people think, I don't want to be enlightened. I don't want to sit meditating for 40 years in a cave or on the top of the mountain. And that's not it. You know, another word for enlightenment is neutrality. Enlightenment is this state where you know you have source dancing in and around and through you as you, and that you are a perfect, divine, high frequency being. But it means that you don't allow your buttons to get pushed. And when they do get pushed, you go back to the source, find out why they got pushed, and you get neutral again. So, you know, it's all about being able to have more joy, more fun. You know, somebody said to me, well, what do I need to give up to live a platinum life? And I said, okay, sex, your credit cards. And then I went, no, just kidding. You know, you don't have to give up anything except your illusions, except your beliefs and programs that are not serving you anyway.
Absolutely. One of the things that you talk about, and you mentioned it here, was forgiveness, right?
Oh.
So, you know, there's a lot of people that clearly forgiveness is so important, because any resentments or hurts that we have, I've heard, is like serpents and scorpions, you know, just having that, it just really, it's like a cancer in the body. And I would love to hear your perspective on forgiveness. And it's one of those concepts that is easy, like, you know, when you go to put your head on a pillow at night to go to sleep, it's something that just naturally happens. You go and you fall and you drift off to sleep. It's not something that you do, it just happens.
Yes.
So forgiveness for me kind of is in one of those categories. So I would love to hear your perspective of how do you actively forgive, and what do you and Daniel teach as far as forgiveness? Because I think that would be really beneficial for anybody that's feeling any resistance about themselves or anybody else, about money, places, things, people, you know, that they could take away from today's interview to get them into a higher state of being.
Yeah, I think this is the most important conversation that we can ever have with anyone, because forgiveness, when you've got someone or something in your life that you haven't forgiven, it's taking up rent-free space in the mind. You know, you close down your heart. You're actually aging, weakening, and diminishing your life when you're not forgiving. So it really is enlightened self-interest to forgive. Now, forgiveness only happens from the heart when you're connected to your true self. This is a very important thing, because now this, I'm going to introduce you to this little guy.
Oh.
Okay, so just imagine that this is your ego puppy, right? And all of us were born with one of these. Now, the ego puppy's job is to keep us separate from our own heart, from our family, our friends, from everyone. Because that's how the ego mind state, that's called the ego mind code, by the way. And that's how it keeps its power. When we start to shift into using platinum and we get into the divine mind code, the ego mind starts going, no, hang on a minute. That's not right. Don't buy Codebreaker. Don't do this system, because it doesn't want us to be happy and successful. The ego mind does not want us to forgive, because when we forgive, we come back into unity with people. When we forgive, we no longer are in this place where we become sick, aged, and diminished. And there's this terrible low frequency code happening between the two people, between nations. You know, you can never, ever come to a place of peace. It's very important to understand that peace is really our natural state. And unforgiveness, like not being able to forgive, takes us out of that, which means we're immediately diminishing everything about our own life. So you have to find that connection, that really strong, deep connection to your heart center. Like, breathe into it. Understand that it's everybody's program. It's the programs you're forgiving, not the person. Did you get that? This is really important. All of us are running programs, and all of them have come up from the unconscious. So we've got programs where we believe something to be true and right, where we do this, where we stand up for our beliefs, where countries stand up for their beliefs, right? When you do that and you're attached to those beliefs, you will not come to a place of neutrality, and you will not forgive. So this is really important.
Huge.
Yeah, forgiveness is the big kahuna as far as I'm concerned. And we've been challenged here so many times with robberies, backstabbing, betrayal. You know, like this, we live on planet Earth. These are the things that happen. But we don't forgive the person. We forgive the person's programs that created the situation. And then if you're talking about personal radical responsibility, we then forgive our own programs for creating the situation in the first place.
Love that.
Right?
Love
really
that.
Important. And so, you know, I mean, I'm just going to, because Codebreaker will take you here. We talk about dualism and non-duality in the book. And in the illusory world of the ego puppy and the ego mind, you know, you will never forgive. You'll always be upset, anxious, worried. You'll always be on that low frequency, which is where the majority of humanity do live, right? It's only when you switch to the high frequency of the divine mind that you come into this transformational place. Now, all of our families really, even if they don't want to be here, their true self does.
Yes.
You get that? Because people often say to me, oh, don't you have to ask permission before you heal someone? I'm going, are you for real? You think that their true self will not give me or somebody else with the highest, purest intention permission to heal? No, it's only the ego mind that would say no. So it's the unconscious programs that we are forgiving all of the time. And I've just made, which you will love and your family will love, I've just made a really beautiful meditation. It's a playground meditation. And honestly, it's so beautiful. It takes you into a playground where you meet your mother and father and you have the opportunity to actually forgive them first and then forgive yourself. And that's a big one because all of us, no matter how great our relationships have been, you know, our mums and dads are the ones who start to condition us immediately. They were doing what they were taught to do and what they were taught to do, right? So a lot of the unconscious programs that we have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. And so they're not even ours.
Right.
And so when you think about it, forgiveness is something that happens in an illusory world where you think there is something to forgive. When you live in reality, which is the world of the true self, there is nothing to forgive. It's all just the story. It was all just a program and it was never ever real because the program, unconscious programs are not real. They're just stories we've made up.
Yes.
And the sooner we stop making up stories, the sooner we can start getting neutral, the sooner we can start forgiving, the sooner we can start living as the best version of who we are. And can I tell you, Christy, I know from having met you and Martin and a lot of other people that when we're doing the work that we do, that's when we're the best version of who we are. Like right now, there's not a better version of me. This is it.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that it lasts, that, you know, that I don't go up and down and I'm challenged.
Right.
But when I am challenged, I remember this frequency. I remember being here. I put my hand up and say, okay, what are the sources of thoughts? Who do I need to forgive? Usually it's myself. And so, and at that stage, I bring myself back to the best version of me. So yeah, you are spot on. Forgiveness is huge.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you for that discussion. So I know, and not just the discussion, but the energy. I hope all of you can feel that it's not just words that are happening. There's a field of energy that's happening we're inviting you to join us in for that allowance of forgiveness, for that place to raise to a higher level. I mean, it's not just a show with two people talking. It's literally a creation of a vortex of energy that will allow you to go higher and step into that, even if for just a few minutes, that you can have this in your life. I feel that that's more of the importance of this type of show. You know, instead of just the information, I mean, our minds get the information, but our whole entire bodies and our hearts can receive and really tap into and align with the frequencies, which is...
Don't you love that? We just give everybody's mind something to rest on. Yes. Whilst we're doing this sneak stealth attack of getting you into a higher frequency, like all of the cells beginning to do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you said just for a few minutes with us, you know, that's why we do the work we do and write the books we do, Christy, because when you pick the books up and you get the frequency from the book and you start reading it and immersing yourself in the information, boy, that's huge. And what we've done is that we've created a challenge, like change your frequency, change your world, so that when you get the book, it's pre-sale now, by the way, people can get it now. It's being launched on November 7th. When you get the book and you start immersing yourself in it, we wanted to give people 8 days where they could work with us for free, and they could really upgrade their frequency as they're working through the book and the journal. Yeah. And so that's coming up at the end of November, December, and I'm really excited about it, by the way, because you can teach an old dog new tricks. I've never done this before, and I've got my ego puppy firmly saying, sit and stay, listen and learn, whilst I put myself out into this challenge arena, and I'm very excited about it.
That's awesome. So we'll have everything that you all need to know right under the video. So you see the video, right below it, you'll see a link. You could just click on that and it's going to take you to the page that's going to tell you everything about how to get the book and also how to join the challenge. So any last thing you want to leave everybody with, Sandra?
Just that I love you. And that's not just to you, Christy, but to everybody who will ever see this. And, you know, I don't have a choice. And I think this is the same for you, Christy. It's not like I'm saying I love you because it's a nice thing to say. I'm saying I love you because it's actually what's happening right now. And I think sometimes it's hard for people to understand that somebody loves you unconditionally and can see you as the perfect divine being that you are, when oftentimes you can't see it for yourself. So I just want you to know, for you, my beautiful soul sister, and for my soul sisters and brothers watching this in your family, that there is so much love coming to you and for you. Beautiful. So know that you are loved.
Well, I can't think of a better way to end this. That was just, I mean, talk about a frequency builder, vibration raiser. Thank you, Sandra. I appreciate you being on the, I was going to say on the show, but what really wants to come out is I appreciate you being on the planet. I appreciate you listening to your call and doing what you came here to do, so that so many of us get to benefit. And I appreciate serving right next to you. So thank you for all that you do.
Daniel and I both just want to thank you for who you are and what you do as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So to the family, let us know, please. Let's continue the conversation right below the video, what you're taking away. Can you feel the frequencies? Can you feel the difference? Can you feel the shifts within yourself during the time that you've been watching this? And more importantly, can you feel your way into it? And I just recommend that you go below the video, click on the link, and enter into Sandra and Daniel's world. You will be happy that you did. And whatever that looks like, if it's buying the book or if it's joining them for the challenge or if it's both or even beyond. So have an amazing week, everybody. And I too love you very much. So thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought. Leave me a comment below and be sure to share and tag your friends. And be sure to check out my other videos here and on this site.